they need to think about Zeratul, because Zeratul, if he finds a pick, instantly he can make it a 1v3 with Falstad and Brightwing, and that's something that Gale Force Esports does. They do that. Maybe not to the synergy level you said like other teams, but when it's a 1v3, there's plenty of body blocks.
Well, instantly going to pick up the Leeming and the Zeratul. Beautiful, not only duo, but then in the response to what you were just saying, that rotation there from B-Step is phenomenal. The only qualm I have at this point is the fact that they don't really have anything to pair outside the Void, obviously, other than Leeming, hoping she can get her big orb, be able to pick up that reset. But those two together are probably one of the most deadly duos in all of Heroes.
Gale Force now has a ban. If they don't want B-Step to have any globals, if they want to play that game and infuriate B-Step, Dahaka potentially could be the choice here.
I would be more afraid of Diablo if I am them. With the Zeratul. I like the Zeratul into the double global because the double globals never want to be able to take that fight. And Zeratul legitimately says, I'm going to take this and you can't stop me. And if you're going to try, then you have to take the fight. And that is where the comp is. B-Step will never be able to only pseudo-match the globals. More than anything, I would be afraid of when Void hits, I'm not just getting obliterated. And APOC is probably going to be the start of that equation. With it not getting banned, they focus more, again, on the supports at APM, possible limited hero pool. I really think they still have to be considering that, so much so that Gale Force might even be picking their Diablo.
Gale Force are absolutely doing that. Mount Furion banned, Rhaegar banned, Brightwing picked. What is it, Ariel?
Medic is not terrible when you have Zeratul.
But APM?
I would take, if you have anybody be able to back him up and somebody else with a failsafe, you have Zeratul with the Void. Artanis does a decent job itself by being able to, get the blind out, reduce the damage if you somehow do manage to get flanked. And then there is still a Tyrael available, which could pair very well as well.
B-Step are looking at Tychus. With Artanis, that's not going to be the only warrior.
We do have the opportunity to move into a Karzim for B-Step as well.
Yes, they do.
It is not as pretty as some of the other, or as obviously some of the other heroes, but again, as long as you have somebody else, much like Brightwing, to kind of aid with your supporting, I don't dislike Karzim.
It's been a long time since we've seen APM play Karzim, and while the Palms weren't great, that was a long time ago. And we both agree he has improved significantly since where he started with Denial.
Yeah, he has made a lot of leaps forward, and I think the next step to really kind of, securing the trust, if you will, is really going to show. Not only is it just on the heroes I get to play a lot, it's going to be on multiple heroes has the opportunity to do that. And today, Gale Force has pushed him to his hero pool limits. Now, Gale Force Esports is still lacking a warrior. ETC is still available, also a global if they want a triple global. Dahaka has made it this far through as well, but they're going to go for the ball of Tassadar. Beautiful duo together, helping Brightwing because she struggles in the supporting too. But again, it is a solo frontline. It's not the first time I've seen this out of Gale Force Esports.
There is going to be a lot on the shoulders of whoever will be the warrior player. Equinox, Crowan. I think those are the only two warrior players we've seen so far from them.
Yeah, it's just Gale Force Esports, even before the kind of fan era of Gale Force Esports, was known to be one of the only teams that would stick to a triple backline when it had fallen out of favor for so long. And I can't help but feel like I see a little bit of that already here in this meta, that they're for being 4 flexes, they seem to be pretty resistant to the melee-focused drafts of a lot of other parts of.
Yeah, especially when you pick up Fan and Equinox.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people who can play melee. That is interesting. B-Step, one last pick.
Tyrael.
They've got Karzim.
They go with the Murden instead. That's a King Caffeine, pretty much classic at that point, but I do like the Tyrael again for the Karzim. Works decent with the Artanis as well. The mobility, the Death Ball, the resets, so much potential, but Murden will be the lockdown there. And you got King Caffeine, he's got the setup, and he's got trustworthy K1 Pro to maybe get the follow-up, so.
Last pick for Gale Force. Which warrior will it be?
I'm guessing it's the ETC.
ETC.
Maybe.
So much global.
It might be a Diablo as well. I don't know. I think I would go with ETC the most out of all those. But we'll have to find out here. If you're more worried about getting the picks, I don't even know. With the composition that I see on the side of B-Step, I think as long as they just have an absurdly sturdy front line, I don't really care. And I think ETC does that a little bit better with TAS.
He definitely has better escape if he gets hit by a swap than Diablo would. Diablo has to hope that somebody's in front of him, which...
Oh. This is interesting. Ooh. Double shield. All right. So
Triple
I'm
Brightwing.
gonna let you go first on this one, on Gale Force in that last pick.
No. You've been doing this too much. You go first.
All right. So, because I just have a tangent at this point. So, in the past, we have seen Undying compositions be relatively successful, specifically Ballistics, Gold Club World Championship. There are a lot of scenarios where you have Zarya in the front line, solos like Warrior, and she can be successful. The only problem is typically it's either usually backed with like a Medivh, a third shielder, somebody else with a major failsafe, and a pretty successful dominant healer, which we have neither of those factors here for Gale Force Esports. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying I have not seen the shield strategy work out or at least I've never even seen it without one of those components, and we don't have either here for GFE.
What GFE does have from that, though, is a lot of disruption of the actual channeling of trying to pick up altars. If they are trying to just slow it down and win the altar game, knowing that winning the objective has worked for them every single game, maybe that's what they're looking at.
You can't win the objective when Zeratul says, you have to fight me now. That is my only major concern. If Zeratul does not get cut out and only uses Void Prisons for actual team fighting, they have to be able to prove that the shields strategy that they have going forward is really enough to be able to win like team fighting. And I'm very afraid of that. I don't dislike the innovation. I love steps towards making Ariel not Ariel, but Zarya this solo warrior on her own, tough girl up front, but I don't think that this is the composition that's going to be able to do it.
A lot comes down to Tassadar and seeing if he can keep tabs of Zeratul from B-Step. I don't know. I think it'll... Who will be playing that then?
I really hope that we see it's specifically going to be McIntyre, I think, onto the Zeratul. I think that's the one that I would like to see out of over iDream.
Let's see how they choose to play that out. We're ready for game number 4 on Towers of Doom. This is B-Step versus Gale Force Esports.
Alrighty. Up one game over Gale Force Esports is B-Step here on the blue side. 8 p.m. His hero pool stretched. He's going to be on Karazim. iDream now on Artanis. K1 Pro on Li Ming once more. King Caffeine is going to be playing Murden and McIntyre on Zeratul.
In the red, the members of Gale Force Esports. Akaface playing Brightwing. Equinox playing Zarya. Fan playing Vala. Tassadar played by Crowan. And finally, Michael Udall playing one of his signature heroes, Falstad.
Yeah, Mike Udall really did impress me the first time I ever got to witness him onto the Falstad. We do see the rotation here. McIntyre's already there, the cutoff. Dwarf Toss already used. Equinox is going to be caught with this combo. He's not going to be able to make it out here. Even forces the port. Nobody is now in the top lane for Gale Force. So, maybe not cutting their losses as quick as they could have. Artanis should make that transition, and B-Step comes out guns blazing.
You know what
Crowan,
That's initial shift already down.
He can't survive this.
The chase.
Polymorph's not enough. Instantly gets killed. The reset. Fan has the vault out. B-Step turning it up after that last game. And I was talking about the mentality of GFE. That E coming out from Crowan on Tassadar, that was
early.
Insanely early.
You know what I love from B-Step too is they knew they were up against a Zarya. Equinox is going to go somewhere, use personal barrier, and soak some tower shots. Where can we be to try to hit her and stop her from getting back into a safe position after that? The fastest rotation we might have seen from them all day.
Yeah, the fastest that we've managed to see out of them. And we see another one coming down here. If Crowan seems like the only target available, King Cap goes in, Dwarf Toss and Stormbolt does land. Akaface, again, is going to be burning his teleport so very early to ensure nobody ends up going down, even though he does not have the shielding that we typically see So that cooldown is going to be available soon-ish, roughly 20 seconds after these altars spawn.
Yeah.
Brightwing has the ability to global because she's been using it so early. So we'll see if B-Step can capitalize on that 20-second window.
That is huge that B-Step forced that out. B-Step are looking at having the 2 altars in top, giving up knowing that a lot of members of Gale Force were in the bottom. King Caffeine is going to start to zone. Here comes Phase Shift from Michael Udall. McIntyre watching Falstad.
That Stormbolt hit, I'm pretty sure that was going to be one dead bird. Polymorph is used relatively early. Good zoning coming out here. Both the teams have secured one of the shots. Zarya and Valia making that rotation. iDream on Artanis has made his way over, so this is going to be the fight. K1 Pro starts the channel. Grenade will be able to get the delay.
As long as K1 Pro is the one channeling, he can't be throwing out damage. They're going to switch this up. Stuns on Equinox. Equinox going to drop. Polymorph does hit one of the members of B-Step. iDream jumps in with another swap. Michael Udall the next to fall.
That was very impressive. The swap directly into the combo coming out from K1 Pro. And that will secure 2 kills here. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I brought up my question on Zarya as a frontliner and the supporting that she's going to be able to need. Granted, we haven't seen Brightwing get to the point where she can be considered, you know, that support. But that wasn't a pretty start or kickoff at all, considering that it was a very even fight for the most part.
Leeching Plasma was just picked up too after all of that. Kala's Embrace will come in to 7-2. So Phase Shift build is the obvious choice. So between Brightwing and Tassadar now, a lot of vision potential to watch out for McIntyre in the Void Prisons, which will be scary for Gale Force Esports. So as they ramp up toward level 10, a lot of these talents will help too.
Again, King Caffeine just doesn't care. Blind checking this camp. It's going to be a full 5 versus 5. Equinox gonna get eliminated there. iDream gets the swap on the fan. He bolts out and he's going down. Cap has Stormbolt in a couple of seconds, but the team's just going to nope right on out of there. B-Step 6 kills to nothing. They are dominating GFE so far in this 4th game.
Sappers stolen too to add insult to injury. B-Step starting to move in. Stormbolt hits Crowan, who uses Dimensional Shift to get out. iDream is not here, so the threat of swaps, which have obviously been working out very well for B-Step so far this game, less of an issue for Gale Force in this defense.
In case you guys are wondering why I called the Murd in the King Caffeine Classic, I think plays like that are going to be the one reason you'll remember him on that hero. Very much, you know, a casual 1 versus 4. I'll come over here. I'll take this camp. All right, I will walk away with your blood on my hammer. And setting his team apart here, Artanis now is going to be able to start the sappers up here, up top.
Calf used to do that a lot with Thunderstrike too, because he'd find somebody and just throw down Thunderburn.
Tread lightly.
Here comes
McIntyre hits the
Singular
combo.
Spike.
There
Swap.
goes the Q, the swap, and one poly is a little bit too late. If he had opened with the polymorph on top of Artanis right the second that it happened, he might have been able to survive, but either way, B-Step here has complete control over the game, really making Gale Force, you know, answer to them.
We asked about Gale Force's mentality, but I'm kind of questioning if hitting a 5-man mosh pit into insta-death wipe of the entire team makes you feel kind of good for a team, because B-Step are playing out of their minds in this early game.
Yeah, this is a aggressive, dominant early performance here from B-Step. One that kind of reminds me of, you know, maybe that little peaking early Mike Udall was referencing towards. Very much feels like that for this team as they do start the camp down here. McIntyre is going to just get a casual blink over. 9 will be achieved soon. 10 advantage will not. I think it actually will come into play during the next phase. So this is actually a really big spike here, especially if Gale Force forfeits one of their structures, specifically bottom with this double camp play. B-Step is not only going to have structural advantage, they're going to have a significant shot advantage too.
Love the constant focus from B-Step on these bottom sappers. Twice in a row, I think now, getting both of them. iDream looks for the swap, jumps in, does put him in tower range. He's going to back on out. But these sappers should all start running in onto that fort. It's going to get low. Michael Udall is even coming in, trying to help out, bring these down.
Yeah, and there's a lot of shields out there. 2 are going to be able to make it. 4 are on their way in. Barely killed. The 5th going to be killed directly before it makes contact, so very well done. GFE committed a lot of resources here, and has actually negated enough damage probably overall to be justified for that commitment. They are capitalizing on experience with Brightwing still, so very well done here. B-Step will be able to secure 10. And I like I said, I think that's going to come into play before. GFE is only going to be like 3 quarters, I think.
Oh, no.
3 quarters before the next shrine phase.
There was a 5-man push from B-Step too. They are able to do that since they know they'll have heroic abilities in time, but they weren't soaking that entire time. Zeratul messing with Brightwing a little bit in the top lane.
Yeah, her health bar is going down pretty low, but she will be able to survive. So now, B-Step, because they're 10 advantage, they will be able to secure the bottom fort almost for free. We see McIntyre's under pressure. He burns his teleport. Mike Udall missing that will be able to allow him to escape with his life. But they're going to push the boss. They cannot risk that with a Zeratul. Instead, just take out the front wall, and Gale Force gets the front wall, but B-Step gets a fort and what's going to be 5 shots here on the core of Gale Force, putting them down to 23. And now that retreat that I was talking about, that global pressure, you know, somebody choosing their own fight, it looks like Zeratul's going to be the guy blinking and choosing that along with Caffeine right now, Gilly.
Equinox was able to sidestep the Stormbolt. Void Prison down. Equinox being kept away. Expulsion zone used though, and McIntyre gets zoned away from the rest of the team. Zeratul gets stuck. This is exactly the spot Gale Force Esports wants to be in to start the fight.
Yeah, not everybody completely on the same page, not together either. K1 Pro barely getting away with his life. The swap not going to land there from iDream. APM is trying to make sure everybody stays topped off. So Zeratul lost his life. More than anything, the cooldowns were used, and Gale Force was able to catch up a little bit in experience, but B-Step's still very much in control, 7-1 in kills, significant shot lead here. It's just whether or not, you know, they capitalize on the 60 seconds that we know Zeratul does not have Void. Gale Force, I think if they're going to be successful in fights, that's going to be the place.
Well, B-Step knows that Gale Force wants to take the bell tower in the bottom back. Zeratul is back and available. Cap once again jumps into the middle of the rest of the team, and that makes everyone from Gale Force nervous. Who else is with this weird Muradin jumping in at us from the side? And it turns out it's everybody. Here comes iDream. Let's see if he can swap in.
There goes the attempt. He ends up landing on Equinox, but maybe not going to matter. That's going to be a teleport, and suddenly Equinox barely is going to be able to survive. Wave of Force is not enough either. And Equinox didn't even need a full 5 vs 5. He was able to keep himself up there. So maybe the Zarya is a bit tougher than I originally calculated, but they are not done. They're doing a great job here, B-Step and Gale Force over this bottom bell tower. And Mike Udall is still just soaking the side lanes. Gale Force is about to catch up in experience.
The swap was kind of at a weird angle where the rest of the team had to come forward. 7-sided strike, I don't think hit all of the hits on Equinox 2. It was pretty close. So the swap, I guess, just not quite able to be in the position to really get Equinox for the team. Polymorph's great on King Caffeine, but he dwarf tosses over Force Wall, and the rest of the team gets out.
I'm amazed the fact that Artanis actually made that rotation to the top. I figured they would stay long enough to at least secure one more shot there and not confirm that bell tower going over, but instead he did pull away, and Gale Force was able to stop it. But 32-19 is the core health here so far, and Gale Force pulls ahead in experience. The question is, can they really take a true 5-on-5 full team fight yet? Because we're yet to be able to experience that in this game.
They would like to push down and force something like that, but the towers were still in the way. Now King Caffeine once again leading the charge, jumping in, looking at Fan. Here comes Brightwing to help Fan out. That's a lot of shielding as Fan starts to soften up health bars with Strafe.
Oh, McIntyre had to actually use Void to keep himself up as he blinked out there, and the rotation coming down from Falstad. This is not good for B-Step. Again, another initiation where everybody's not quite together for B-Step, and Gale Force just abuses the fact that they've got the globals. You know, they can be there if they need to. Very well done here by GFE.
All right, B-Step are starting to lose that momentum they had in the mid game. What do they need to do to get back into this? They're not even behind, they're still ahead in core health, but just to make sure they don't completely start to give away the race to 16.
That Gus Force and the Vorpal back.
This is good.
This is going to be a winning trade for Mike, or not for Mike, excuse me, McIntyre, but Akka comes in. Paulie is going to be used, and suddenly what was dead, it may not be. Mike is on retreat. Cap with the flank. Dwarf toss. Stormbolt. He's still got barrel roll almost like right now. I think it just came off cooldown. I think he just interrupted it with that wave of force. Akka dodges the swap, but he still goes down. K1 Pro hits the orb. 2-0 here. B-Step.
B-Step sees Equinox, Fan, and Crowan sieging down the fort in bottom and throws down, stalls some time to importantly ensure that they can pick up a boss. That's 4 more shots heading toward the core of Gale Force Esports.
All right, so now the shrines are spawning here. That's going to be the 15 shots onto the core. A man down. Both of them are globals, though, so they'll be able to transition relatively quickly. So we'll see how this plays out here as both teams are equal when it comes to experience, or excuse me, talents. But 5-3 when it comes to the bell towers.
Yeah, B-Step made the best of a weird situation since they were already in top, but being down a bell tower for all of these, for the 3 alter phase is rough. Actually, B-Step are even choosing to go after.
Did Brightwing teleport early on?
I don't know. I didn't see. I was looking at Zeratul Falstad.
Oh, yeah, because Falstad's going to lose that 1v1 if Brightwing doesn't have the teleport. That's what I'm concerned about, but I don't know if it actually happened.
Looks like Falstad's even flying over on top of McIntyre in the top lane while this fight happens in the bottom. Michael Udall is plenty healthy. They have to send iDream up. B-Step in a rough spot here around the mid-altar.
Yeah, and they have, with that, oh, the Straight's going to be able to confirm the kill. Calf ends up going down here. Great strafe by Fan, and we do see those 3 shots were secured, putting it down to 12. But B-Step, you know, the plan is crumbling a bit here. Fan, or Pro can only blink away there and does use the Wave of Force. I don't think he's going to get out. Oh my goodness.
Ooh, Fan with a multi-shot over the wall almost gets a kill onto K1 Pro. Now B-Step need to get this bell tower back. That was the bane of their existence and helped Gale Force Esports immensely start to claw their way back with core health. It could even more too if Gale Force Esports can escort in these sappers.
Yeah, the Gust is going to be up here in 8 seconds. The swap attempt is not really going to reap anything in here. K1 Pro is trying to get his orbs out, get rid of those sappers, but they're getting ever closer. There's going to be the blind, the move-in, and aggression here for B-Step. Swap attempt again is going to put Equinox in a tough spot. 7-sided strike does land, but McIntyre's HP is a bit too low to go forward. Void is still available, but B-Step right now, their health bars pretty much don't exist, and that is 4 versus 5.
The whole time Falstad was pushing up in the top lane, and this is what I talk about. Towers of Doom is clearly Gale Force Esports battleground. even when they were behind, just how they were able to come back in this through a few plays, good decision making, knowing exactly how many resources to commit to any sort of objective has helped them catch up almost in core health. They've been able to play the bell tower game so well too.
They have managed to do so, and two more are now going to be spawning. Both teams are 16. This is going to be a huge swing here in either direction if one of the fights really kind of busts out here. As this game moves on, we do see Mike Udall is still hiding kind of up atop, not giving away his position. He will make the flight down here, though, for these shots. So this is really it. This is a huge moment for both these teams. And instantly, Equinox 7-sided strike. Gus is going to be used. Bloodbath. Everybody's going head-to-head here.
The Gus helped, though, got Equinox out of trouble. Shots have already been going in because of the escorted minions. Tassadar was in the bottom while the rest of BZEP were trying to make the fight. 3 more shots go down. A swap on Equinox. This time finds its mark. Tassadar goes down. Reset City.
Yeah, that's going to be 1 reset, but False confirms those shots on the bottom. That's 5 going in. 14 left onto the core. 3 will be channeled in response. So suddenly, a heavily weighted game against Gale Force still looks relatively close, at least when it comes to shots on the core. Boss is not going to be available for some time here, 1 minute and 7 seconds. And so the teams are trying to set it to even here, as this is... That was the first 5v5, second 5v5 we managed to see this game. It's been very surprisingly just skirmish, right? Even that initiation was like, oh, Zarya's here, let's just go. Everybody just go, 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 go. And I don't know, I'm trying to gauge the strength of the solo Zarya, and it has moments of surviving, just barely, but at the same time, it doesn't feel to have as much control as I'd hope. It seems like Gale Force is still more worried about let's just out macro, make them panic. That's
kind of the playstyle of the Gale Force global comps, though, is they want to keep the skirmishing. They have somebody always split soaking in another lane, taking down a bell tower when they're distracting the rest of B-Step. B-Step are here as 5. They say, let's fight as 5. Falstad's not here. Falstad says, I don't want to do that. That's a huge Graviton Vortex swap. In the back, Void Prison catches both Artanas and Brightwing. The fight happening everywhere. Suppression pulse goes down. Falstad's flown in. Gus away. B-Step. King Caffeine jumps right back in, throwing out the stuns, slowing down some of the members. Swap happens again on 2 members. Octaface and Equinox. Still no kills.
Nobody is going down. Everybody barely being able to survive. The 7-sided strike did not get as much value in that last fight either, as B-Step definitely wanted. And iDream has been able to, as I say that, attempt the swap once more onto Fan. They're trying to be able to peel off. McIntyre just ended up getting his tap. He's trying to move back to help the team, but everybody's heroics is pretty much on cooldown. Only one available is going to be Blink Heal, which I don't even know if count that as a cooldown.
K1 Pro has Wave of Force. Maybe you could throw somebody back to the team further if iDream gets a good swap. Trying it again. These polymorph timings have been pretty good.
6 seconds before the blind comes up, and that's going to be needed to help this fight. If you are on B-Step right now, K1 Pro barely surviving, looking to try and get that dominance proc here, but no, he's going down. Huge force wall from Crowan. K1 Pro barely going to be able to keep alive. Ends up going down. The strafe rips through B-Step, and they are on full retreat.
Hungering arrow, all but secure. There it is. Secures the kill on Murden. But Fan will make sure that he gets the last shot in for that fight. Taking out Murden, only Zeratul left.
I'm trying to do math. Hold on. Caster math sucks right now.
They can get this one. Mid is good too. It's low.
It's going to be a minimum of 2,
6.
and then the channel, and then a question posturing for the 3rd. Yeah, so what I want to see from Gale Force Esports right now is you go through mid, you apply the pressure there, then you return towards top. Once you capture top, you see your opponents respond to bottom. When that happens, then you look to confirm the boss. So somebody looks for the channel right now, which actually Mac just got scouted out.
Oh no.
Actually, the void use, I don't know if I would say might be worth, but I actually think the fact that this rotation isn't happening on the side of Gale Force is better than having Zeratul alive. Just purely on the fact that it can actually deter this from being a lethal move on the side of Gale Force. It might be able to, at least.
That's the 6 shots. Brings it down to 8. Gale Force are now ahead. Slow down of damage on this final bell tower. They need to. They have to take back the mid and try to get Gale Force off of this top.
Yeah, they're managing to be able to hold pretty well. Mid is going to go down 100% here, so those are not going to be trickled down. But see, if that rotation had happened 5 seconds earlier, I think that would have been game right there. So I see very well done McIntyre, but just one scout, and they all committed way too many resources to secure that. So Boss is now going to be their focus, going to put the core down to 4 for B-Step and 9 now for Gale Force Esports. But B-Step's about to get on that 20. And Zeratul can get pretty crazy once he gets 20, so maybe there will be a big play there.
B-Step trying to do damage control, whereas Gale Force Esports wants to keep the bell towers in their favor. For those of you who don't know Towers of Doom, if you can ever take control of all 6 of the bell towers, your core starts firing shots consistently at your opponent's core. And Gale Force Esports are down to only needing to deal 4 shots to B-Step. No matter how they play it, Gale Force are in a great spot here.
So those sappers are now pressuring top. Double sapper spawned onto bottom. They don't possess the bottom bell tower, though. Gale Force Esports doesn't, at least. So this return is going to lead to bottom bell tower will be dead for B-Step, and double sappers pressuring. If they keep 4 alive and Gus is used properly, this could be enough to be able to end the game here. Void is an option, but if Void gets pressured out, this could be it. It's just how fast does Gale Force split this pressure, and now with their double globals, B-Step has a lot of tough questions in front of them over the next 30 seconds, and I don't think even from an outsider perspective I have the answers.
This feels like checkmate, and B-Step knows that they just need to get into a fight. If they can take down all of Gale Force Esports right now before the sappers get into a bad position, swap goes down, 7-sided strike, the Gust gets Gale Force back. B-Step jumps right back into the fight. Zeratul's heading up to the top. They have kept all of Gale Force here in the bottom.
Yeah, they've done a really good job into this fight so far to be able to survive, but Zeratul feigned the rotation to top, thinking, okay, I'll just deny some of the shots, but then now decides, okay, maybe I'll come back. He's going to have to reveal himself if he gets the channel. He's waiting, he's trying to stand still to make it to Falstead, actually makes a mistake of moving onto him. But that is not the case. Everything being very patient. Gale Force realizes Zeratul has not shown himself in some time, and they're probably going to 5-man commit to this. They can't lose any channel here, or B-Step will lose the game. Void is used very early, only to isolate 2. No pressure there. That is not what you want if you are B-Step.
There's no 7-sided strike even to hit on top of that Void Prison either. Just a swap to pull Equinox back, but he is heavily shielded, heavily energied. He's throwing out tons of damage with each and every particle grenade. Channel was grabbed on the left side. It's just this right-hand side remaining, but B-Step must take this.
All right, the force wall is going to be used as zone. Artana still does have his blind. Gus is up as well. So if the channel starts, Mikey Doll is the last person you want to channel because you want to be able to use that Gus. Somebody else should be looking to. They go in. That's a lot of damage. Crowan uses his E. Straight goes in. Mac is barely going to be able to stay alive. King Caffeine in the front. Teleport coming in from right wing. There goes the blind. Maybe a couple seconds here. Too late for B-Step as they're already down 1 man. That's going to be 2. And this is going to be I can't imagine it not being game at this point. There is so much available here. 4 down. Boss is not going to be up for 2 minutes, but that should be a triple key play, or I just miscounted and read the cores wrong.
I was wondering what was going on. I was like,
thought 5 for some reason.
Getting set up for the camera to come back on.
I was like, well, they had 4 when I thought before, and then I looked at the house and I read them backwards, and I was like, but now they have 5, so that's not the game, and I was wrong before, and then I wasn't wrong. And it's a caster math, you know? That's why you don't have me do the math. I made the right call, but I got it wrong.
Math is hard.